ToonGrin.com.
Hello and welcome back to Cartoon Corner with me, your host Whyboy, and my head writer Puppet. Say hi, Puppet. Hi. Yeah, Puppet's been working really hard lately. Working with this review schedule with me. Just putting in all the requests that you guys sent in. And also ignoring any requests that Obnoxious has sent in. Oh, you're just jealous because I have smarter request suggestions than your fans! What about the Garbage Pail Kids animated series? You're gonna review one of it? Woo! Yeah. Woo! What he said is definitely not true. We've been getting a lot of great requests from all sorts of people throughout the internet. For the Gaming Alleys and for Cartoon Corner. Examples like It's the Girl in the Red Truck Charlie Brown, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, the live action Scooby-Doo movies, and quite a few others. But today is our first list request from our old pal Alligator, and he says,
"Here's a good joke idea for us you do a top 11 sad cartoon moments, since let's face it, there aren't going to be a lot of Disney entries. I clearly should have called this list top 11 saddest Disney cartoon moment, because I'm getting a lot of Disney entries. Happiest place on earth, my ass."
And you know, he's got a point there. Disney has gone on record to have shown more scenes of death, characters crying, people being abandoned, more than any other animation studio that I've ever seen. So, let's not have a list putting Disney together with a bunch of other scenes. Let's celebrate Disney's sad moments in Cartoon Corner's top 12 saddest animated moments. Which what I would be saying if I didn't actually decide a little bit before that I wanted to postpone this list. Just got a new message from Fuzzy Pedal 69, and he says,
"Dear Whyboy, I heard your reviews, but you deal with too much crap. You should do something good for change. How about you do a top Saddest Disney Moments, please? Kitty face."
"Oh, like why don't you get a life, Fuzzy Pedals?" Oh.
Shut up!
You landed on my leg! Oh, like shut up! Like what are you, some sort of crybaby? Number 12. The pound scene from Lady and the Tramp. Yes, I always either choke up or tear up at any form of sad animal moments. And why shouldn't I? Look at this scene. The sadness is mainly the same as with Oliver and company. Cute animals sad and being neglected, shown by the very dirty looking surroundings and either abandoned or just lost. The scene actually reminds me of those adoption infomercials where it's nothing but the cameraman finding the saddest cats and dogs possible and playing the most depressing song over them. You know the ones that make you want to condemn yourself for each and every past moment of empty and naive joy in your life. This scene doesn't even make you think about adopting a dog? Then what is wrong with you? Number 11. Lilo's kidnapping from Lilo and Stitch. Now let me just say that this choice is mostly due to the fact that I love, let me say that again, love this movie. The story, the characters, the art style of the movie, it's all just plain fantastic. And this stems to why I felt so bad during this scene. Okay, here's a quick recap of scenes leading up to the sad moment. Dr. Jumba Jukiba, Stitch's creator, comes in once again to try and capture Stitch. And he does it unsubtly, I might add, as he destroys Lilo and her sister Nani's house in the process. And the destruction of their house is the final straw for the social worker, named Cobra Bubbles, to take Lilo away from Nani. And as both of them argue, Lilo is able to slip away into the woods, as she meets up with Stitch once again, who reveals his true form to her. And this is where the sad moment really begins for me, when she says the line,
"You ruined everything."
Which is a real crushing blow for this relationship, because throughout the movie they had been getting closer and closer and closer, but this moment just seemed to snap that relationship right in half. And soon after that, Captain Gantu shows up and kidnaps both Lilo and Stitch and puts them on his spaceship. Nani, when she sees this, is shocked to see Gantu putting Lilo and Stitch in a container pod and taking off in the ship. Stitch, however, escapes from the container before the ship takes off. And then Nani, wanting answers, confronts Stitch.
Okay.
I always found that funny for some reason. But before Stitch can say anything, he's captured by Pleakley and Jumba. And this is when it starts.
Where's Lilo?
Who? What?
Lilo. My sister.
We know her.
Bring her back.
Oh, we can't do that.
So she's gone?
Look at the bright side. You won't have to yell at anyone anymore.
Just feel the utter shock that Nani feels right now. Aliens have just kidnapped her only remaining family, and she may never see Lilo ever again. That's pretty heavy stuff. I also find the build-up of the sister-sister relationship in this movie to add to the shock value of Nani's expression here. So, what's my main reason for why I think this scene is sad? Well, it's because I feel attached to Nani and Lilo, and Stitch, and the whole concept of Ohana in this movie. And it is heartbreaking to see that connection be split apart in this scene, for just a moment. So for the separation of this group's Ohana, they've made it to number 11.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind.
or forgotten. Yeah.
Number 10. Quasimodo at the Feast of Fools. Now we're getting into the real sad moments now. This entire scene's sadness stems from Frollo's actions here. Frollo shows that he doesn't play around when it comes to abusing his power. Frollo spends 20 years emotionally abusing the foreign Quasimodo after killing his mother and taking him for his own. He continues to abuse him until the point where Quasimodo completely submits whenever Frollo is around. Frollo then forbids Quasimodo from ever leaving the cathedral, cutting off any form of human contact other than with Frollo. But thanks to Quasimodo's talking gargoyles, which is the very low point of that movie, Quasimodo gets the courage to go against Frollo and go outside. But this turns into a cruel punishment when Quasimodo is discovered at the Feast of Fools. Quasimodo is tied down and has food thrown at him, and hails of slurs and insults screamed at him. It is all happening while he is crying out for Frollo to help him.
Master! Master, please! Help!
But Frollo doesn't help. When Quasimodo is finally set free, he has to run back through the crowd, back into the cathedral, and the whole crowd backs away from him in disgust. He cries the whole way back. He's trapped in a world where his worst enemy, Frollo, is also his greatest sworn protector. Now that's psychological torment. Basically, all he knows is hate and fear, and the more he opens up to the world, the worse it gets for him. You can either be alone and safe, but depressed, or free and humiliated and depressed. The sadness is the vicious cycle of abuse that this character goes through, and this moment shows the epitome of his torment. So, at this Feast of Fools, Quasimodo's torment gets to the number 10 spot. Number 9. Jesse's Song from Toy Story 2. Now, I can simply say that all the Toy Story films are complete gold when it comes to story quality and 3D modeling and animation, and Toy Story 2 is no exception. The main scene of Toy Story 2 was accepting change and moving on with life, and Woody meets a physical representation of this as the cowgirl toy named Jessie. Jessie throughout the film, till this moment, has shown herself to be the toughest nails tomboy cowgirl who doesn't let life get her down, but also becomes very frustrated when someone talks of leaving or change. But this rough exterior begins to melt away as she finally gives in, recounts the tale of her and her previous owner, and shows us the root of her abandonment issues, which is played to the song When Somebody Loved Me by Sarah McLachlan.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour spent together lives within my heart. And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. And I knew she
The song continues to detail the time Jessie was left under a bed for many years, while her owner continued to just grow and grow out of her cowgirl fascination. And when the song starts to finally pick up hope, have her child play with her once again, she is packed into a box and left alone. The song shows us another side of Jessie that, as before this point, was only shown through frustration at Woody's desire to return to Andy. But with this song, we see Jessie become fully fleshed out as a full, three-dimensional character with flaws, motives, and likable qualities. We truly become attached to her and feel sorry for her fears of separation and being alone. Jessie's song, the cowgirl with a complex heart, sings her sad, sad song all the way to number 9.
You never forget kids like Emily or Andy, but they forget you.
Number 8. Not in Nottingham from Disney's Robin Hood. A definite classic tale for any Disney fanatic. Fun characters, great action, and a truly enjoyably pathetic villain. But we're talking sad today. So moving on, after John's biggest tantrum, after failing once again to capture Robin Hood, he decides to boost taxes once again, so high, ending with the imprisonment of almost the entire town of Sherwood. They even throw the narrator, Roger Miller, in there for crying out loud. And the scene truly becomes gut-wrenching when Miller starts to play his song, Not in Nottingham.
Every town has its ups and downs. Some towns' ups outnumber the downs, but not in Nottingham.
What makes this scene truly heartbreaking is just seeing the characters in jail with the hope seemingly drain from their expressions, which by this movie's standards of fun action is a complete mood shift comparing them to earlier in the movie.
You see, he doesn't want to play. Too late to be known as John the First. He's sure to be known as John the Worst. A pox on that phony king of England.
Some towns' ups outnumber the Downs, but not in Nottingham.
But the moment for me doesn't stop here. This scene of hope being ripped away is brought full circle as Friar Tuck, after having the only bit of the donation, or the horse stolen from by the sheriff of Nottingham, is carted away to be hung, after trying to stand up for himself.
Oh no!
Oh, dear mother. Every town has its ups and downs.
If you're feeling filled with hope, not in Nottingham will rip it right out of you. And that's why it's our number 8.
Outnumber the Downs, but not in Nottingham.
Number 7. Pinocchio's Death from Pinocchio. Number 7. Pinocchio's Death from Pinocchio. Okay, there's really nothing profound I can say about this moment. Probably one of the most simplest, saddest moments as it comes to this list. All I can say is the scene is sad because it is the close death of our main hero Pinocchio after he saves his father Geppetto's life. And there's sad music playing and everyone is crying, which is not to say it's a bad scene at all, but compared to the other moments on this list, it fails to bring anything else to the table other than the near death of a boy with sad music playing in the background. Oh, Whyboy, have you become just as heartless as me? I'm not being heartless. I'm just saying, compared to the complexities of characters' actions, story structure, and the strong themes that invoke feelings of sadness over people, Pinocchio doesn't deliver that much on that. But by how high I place it on the list, with my critiques against it, the scene is still plenty sad and plenty memorable for this sad moment. Also, Pinocchio returns to life, so at least it ends happy.
I'm a real boy!
You're alive. And you are a real boy.
Yay!
A real life boy. These cards.
The Death of Pinocchio. It may not be complex, but it's still plenty sad, which is why it's number 7.
Well, this is practically where I came in.
Number 6. Alice is Lost from Alice in Wonderland. Okay, we're keeping with the main theme of these past 2 ones, of sad moments that are more memorable than they are very deep. And in Alice's case, it goes like this. Alice is lost in the wacky, fantastical world of Wonderland, meeting all sorts of wacky characters, and having her body transformed by weird concoctions made from the world. So in short, not Alice's best day ever. But throughout the movie, Alice is able to persevere through it, because mainly due to her bullheaded determination. But as she loses herself deep in the Wonderland woods, she finally reaches the end of her rope and doesn't know where to go. So she does what most of us do when we reach the end of our rope. We cry.
I went along my merry way, and I never stopped to reason. I should have known there'd be a price to pay. Someday. Someday.
So what makes this scene sad? Well, I can honestly say that I personally relate more to Alice, because I've been at the end of my rope many a time before. And while I didn't cry kind of like this, I kind of cried more like, But Alice here is the closest representation of just somebody bawling their eyes out. Oh, just to the end of sniffing, gasping for breath, and just totally being sad. In the middle of the Wonderland woods, Alice is sad and alone, and that's why she gets the number 6 spot. Number 5. Baby Mine from Dumbo. Dumbo is without a doubt the most consistent downer of Walt's classic. So let's first talk build up to Baby Mine. So the story goes that Miss Jumbo here receives Dumbo by a stork, and because of his humongous ears, all the elephants make fun of him, calling him Dumbo as an insult. And strangely, Miss Jumbo lets that name stick. Thanks, Ma. But after Miss Jumbo defends Dumbo from a bunch of kids that are teasing him, she is chained down and labeled as a mad elephant, splitting up Dumbo's only family.
Mrs. Jumbo! I hope she's in. Someone to see ya!
A marvel for the scene is that it doesn't really show much sad imagery. Half the time it shows the other animals sleeping soundly and happily with their kids, and showing the contrast between Dumbo and his mom or the side being torn apart. The contrast leads to a more sort of realization of sadness, rather than in most of the other moments the sad thing is just in the middle of the room in spotlights. Another strength of this scene is that it takes its time to move through the sad scene more naturally. Coupled with the great singing talent of the uncredited Betty Noyles, and you get my number 5 saddest Disney moment. Number 4. Mufasa's death from The Lion King. Okay, as we all know, Mufasa from the beginning of this movie has been built up as this numero uno dead and the king of the Pride Lands, which made us all identify and relate to him, which in turn makes us like him. Now, on to the sad part. Simba, after being tricked by Scar to wait in the middle of this inescapable canyon, Scar's hyenas set off a stampede of wildebeest, and they head in the path of Simba. However, Mufasa learns of Simba's predicament, and he rescues Simba in a total badass way. However, as Mufasa attempts to flee the wildebeest by climbing up the gorgeous walls, Scar shows up again, and I'm sure that he'll help pull up Mufasa, and they can be one big happy family once again.
Long live the king.
Oh, never mind then.
I mean, my god, that's a pretty violent death there. Being trampled on by a bunch of wildebeest, that alone makes me cringe. And sadness for Mufasa's pain, even though he only looks like someone just messed with his fur a little bit. And Mufasa's death is a really sad moment, and made even sadder by Simba's reaction. There's only one major thing that sets it back from being like one of the top 3, and this was actually brought up by my artist Jordan Tucker. The point is that actually most of the Disney moments have very fluctuating tone shifts. My number 2 moment being the most hilarious of these tone shifts. But in Lion King's case, the tone shift is just all out. Seeing that this whole entire moment is this sort of epic moment. It's like the wildebeest running, Mufasa and Simba escaping them, and it's all epic and big and climactic. And then Mufasa's death, and it's all sad. And once you really think about it, it's kind of a jarring transition from one another. But not enough to completely ruin the scene, just enough to just make it noticeable. So,
For this epic scene of sadness, Mufasa's death gets the number 4 spot. Number 3. The opening to Up. Actually, I really can't do this scene justice by just talking about it. We gotta show most of the scene. So, here it is. My real reactions to this scene. Do I really need to say more? Because Up is such a real slice of life at the beginning. It's just the real life of Ellie and Carl. It's completely identifiable and completely sad when the ending of the beginning hits. And another great achievement of this scene, it gets sadder the older you get and you watch it again. And for that is why the opening to Up is the number 3 on the top 12 saddest Disney moments. Number 2. The death of Bambi's mom from Bambi. Gasp! The death of Bambi's mom isn't number 1? How is that possible? Well, let's first talk about the scene first. The scene starts off with one day at the end of winter. Bambi and his mother go to the meadow and discover a new patch of grass, heralding the arrival of spring. Bambi's mother senses a hunter and orders Bambi to flee. As they run, gunshots are fired. When Bambi arrives at their thicket, he discovers his mother is no longer with him. He wanders the forest, calling for her, but she does not answer. His father then appears in front of him and tells Bambi,
"Your mother can't be with you anymore."
And an emotionally crushed Bambi is led away. Do I really need to say more? Not only do we have a death of a family member, the mother, I might add, but the scene has this sort of inevitability over it. The feeling that makes you just cringe because you know what Bambi is going to find when he searches for his mother. And it's not going to be something he likes. And the final stick in the heart for this scene is Bambi's father, almost stone cold, firmly telling Bambi that she's dead. It's one thing to see your father get killed in front of you like in The Lion King, but it's another to be told after the fact and having the sense that you could have been there for her in her final moments. So I had to put the deaths of Bambi's mom at number 2 for that. But why wasn't it at number 1? Well, this has a very hilarious jarring moment in it, which actually makes it even more memorable and more worthy of getting the number 2 spot. But wait! If the death of Bambi's mom, Mufasa's death, and the opening to Up aren't number 1, then what the hell is? Well, let's find out. And the number 1 saddest Disney moment is the ending of The Fox and the Hound. Now most of you might be turning your head and going, say, what? But in my eyes, this ending is the saddest moment for Disney, period. And Fox and the Hound achieves this by breaking the happy ending mold completely with their ending. Let's explain. The ending goes like this. Copper is attacked by a bear while Slade is out to kill Todd. But Todd comes in and takes care of the bear, but their fight causes both Todd and the bear to fall off a cliff into a lake. Todd manages to survive the fall and is now within an inch of his life, but Slade appears and prepares to spray Todd's fox brains all over the mountain. But at the last second, Slade is stopped by Copper, and for this act, Slade is moved by it and lowers his gun. And this is where the mold is broken. Todd doesn't go with Copper back home. In fact, the movie makes it painfully clear that the two, the Fox and the Hound, may never see each other again. The ending shows another sad fact of life, like Up, and spotlights it for everyone to see. The fact being that sometimes best friends, even as close as the Fox and the Hound were, for one reason or another, sometimes they get separated and may never see each other again. And the pain of basically losing a friend is unbearable. Having this adult sadness shown in this movie is probably one of Disney's greatest accomplishments as filmmakers. And that's why I've made this truly sad, bittersweet ending the number 1 saddest Disney moment.
You're my very best friend. And you're mine too, Todd. And we'll always be friends forever, won't we? Yeah, forever.
So that was my top 12 saddest Disney moments. Did you feel that something was left out? Then place it in the comments below and give your reasoning behind it. I would love to read it, and so probably would a lot of other people. Oh, sorry, Puppet seems to be calling me. See you later. Oh, okay, Puppet, what is it? What, another email from FuzzyPedal69? Oh, what is he?
Hey Whyboy, again love your vids, but now that you've had your break,
time for punishment to begin.
What? Woo! Woo! Obnoxious? The obnoxious? What happened?
Whyboy. Black gloves. Present. Oh, sorry. Oh.
What the hell? Oh shit. Let's see. From Fuzzy Petals 69. No.